I didn't realize that I wouldn't want to leave.
You mix that Negro with that Creole, make your Texas Bama. I like my baby having afros. I like my baby having afros.
Where do I start, kind of? Hi, welcome. So as you can see, I am in a different location than my cute pink apartment, and I am now in a very gray on gray puffer couch because this is my new apartment in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I don't know at what point you maybe started watching my videos or if this is the first video you've ever seen, I don't know, but I was living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the past year. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school in Raleigh, moved to Fort Lauderdale, and that was one of the best years ever, really. So this video, I basically just want to make almost for my own personal records, but also, you know, why not share the story with everybody else? Maybe this video could be helpful. So I went to school in Raleigh, like I said, and I got a job super early into my senior year that was located in Fort Lauderdale. It was just me by myself. I was living by myself. I was starting over and I was nervous but excited. And while I was in college, I developed some sort of like social anxiety, I guess. And it kind of made me feel like my personality wasn't good enough for people. Like there was just always something wrong with the relationships that I made. I thought that I could do better, I thought I could create a better life for myself and better relationships than I had in the past. And so when I moved down there, I basically had like a talk with myself and I was like, okay, Joelle, you are not gonna be like this anymore. You're not gonna be nervous to go talk to people. Everything's gonna go well. You're gonna make some great friends and you're gonna love it here. And my work life, it turns out I found out very, very early on, I was not a huge fan of the job that I was doing. And it was kind of tough. Like, I moved to a new city. My job was primarily kind of solo. Like I was by myself all day pretty much. So I was by myself in an apartment by myself when I'd never lived there, when I've never lived by myself in general. And I didn't know anyone in the area. So I was just on my own so much in the beginning, and it was still hurricane season, so it was raining every day, something that I was not used to at all. And it was just a really, really difficult transition. I was so upset for a lot of that time, and I felt like, wow, I really made a mistake, and I can't wait to get back to Charlotte. Like, my family's here, my boyfriend's here, my friends are here. Like, what am I even doing in Florida? So from the beginning, I was just like, okay, I'm making some progress. This is kind of cool, but I still don't have any money. I still can't really do anything, and my job sucks. And it was just all getting really overwhelming. So that was the beginning. And sometime around October, I was kind of venting to my dad. And I was just telling him, like, I feel stuck. Like, what am I doing? I picked this job, but now I can't leave. And you're not supposed to leave a job before a year, or so they say. You're not supposed to leave a job before you're there for a year, or it looks really bad. And I was just kind of going on and on and on to him. And he was just kind of like,
okay, like.
He's like, I hear what you're saying, but then do something you like. He was like, you've always loved to travel, so why don't you try to go travel? And in my mind, I was like, oh, what? Like, you are absolutely right. Long story short, from that moment on, I made a plan to go travel after a year at my job. So I originally planned to go travel abroad for a full year, and then that full year turned into 6 months, and that 6 months turned into 3 months, but I still made a plan, like a very, very detailed, concise plan for a trip to Europe. So I booked my first flight October 31st, 2019. I booked a flight from the US to London, England, and I thought I would spend 1 month in London and explore the general UK area, and then I would spend 2 months with a home base in Barcelona, Spain, but then explore many other countries in Europe as well as Morocco, because it's like right there on the map. So that was going to be my plan for summer 2020. So starting October 31st, I kind of impulsively booked a trip. I convinced Joseph to book a flight with me, come travel for 5 weeks of the 3 months that I would be there. And he said yes, and we made this whole plan. And yeah, so anyway, that's what I started doing, and that's what my focus was on for a good chunk of the year. So October 31st to probably the end of February, I was just saving as much money as I possibly could. I wasn't eating out. I was eating out, but I wasn't eating very expensive things. I wasn't really drinking. I wasn't really going out. But all the while, I was still making friends and I was still making relationships. I was still doing my dance fitness class, and I was still like having nights out here and there and having like fun little outings, but like I was really, really frugal. I was really budgeting my money. So I ended up saving a ton of money in just a couple of months. Even though my cost of living was really high, it was still just me. So I was able to, buy my necessities and pay rent and bills and everything without spending too much extra money. So then the end of February hits and talks of coronavirus start, swirling around, and everyone's kind of just like, oh, it's coming to the United States right around now. And in my mind, I was like, oh shoot. And so they were talking about Italy being affected and all these other European countries being affected as well. And of course, that was in my plan, I was supposed to go from here to there. And we were both being affected. So it was around the first couple days of March that I was just like, shoot. Like, I'd already booked the flights. I'd already booked the Airbnbs. What am I gonna do? So I was just kind of in this middle area until eventually it was like, okay, we're on like lockdown, flight restrictions, everyone abroad's coming back, travel's being canceled right around mid-March. And I was just like,
So you're telling me, what you're telling me is that this thing I've been planning for like 6 months is just out the window? Like, I was planning.
so yeah. So all of that was just kind of, down the drain at that point. And I was in limbo for a little bit, because at this point my job still didn't know that I was planning to leave. And they just had no idea. I was gonna give like a regular, 2 weeks, 1 month notice and just kind of say, okay, I'm out. But this whole time they had no idea that I was planning this entire elaborate thing. So I had the ability to kind of just stay. My landlord allowed me to extend my lease for a little bit. And so I was just kind of safe for the moment, but I was really unhappy. So right around April of 2020, when we were still in lockdown, I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to Charlotte. My plan was for me to go to Europe and then come back to Charlotte. So have my 1 year in Florida, go travel a little bit, and then come back and be with Babe, be with my family, buy a house. I'm chill, like that was the plan. Everything was kind of kicked into high gear at that point. So I'm saying all this is kind of like a background for what was kind of going on and how I was structuring my life. But all the while, I was fostering my relationships here. And starting probably mid-January, I really started to go out and like have a life, really. Although I was being frugal, like I said, I was just having such a good time. I really got into the swing of things. I started doing pole dancing, which is what inspired me to buy a pole to begin with. So I started doing those classes, making friends there, and still doing my dance fitness, and making friends at work, and making friends just in life, and connecting with my family that live there. And I was just having such a good time. Like, the beginning of 2020 was just so almost blissful. Like, I was just enjoying myself a little bit, to the point where I was actually a little bit sad to be going to Europe, but of course it's still travel, so you're still super excited. So I wasn't really thinking about it. And it wasn't until that Europe trip got canceled that I realized that I was just skimming over all that joy in anticipation of leaving. Because after a while, my job kind of got pushed on the back burner. Even after lockdown, Fort Lauderdale was a great place to be because you had the beach, which once that opened, everyone's still social distance. It depends on where you went on the Fort Lauderdale beach. But if you went to the right places, people still social distance, and you were able to just have a good time. I wasn't super duper concerned about that, so I started doing stuff like that more and spending more time with my friends. So I was at the beach several times a week. I was at restaurants in the last 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks, a little bit more often. Of course, like I said, being as safe as possible. And then I just started hanging out with my friends again, because although yes, we're in lockdown, this is kind of going to be my last shot to see people. So I didn't see that many people. Let's get it straight. It was less than 10 people that I saw overall, but the quality of those relationships were just so good. Like, I was just so happy, you know? And by the time, you know, last week rolled around and it was kind of like, okay, I'm packed, I'm getting ready to leave, and it's just been the best experience. So yeah, so I have a few clips that I'm not sure yet if I'm going to sprinkle them throughout the video or if they're all kind of just going to be on the end. I don't like using my phone that much when I'm out with people. I just feel like it takes away from the moment, so I don't take many pictures, I don't take many videos, but I just did a few little clips here and there with some of the people that I saw in my very last week. And I just want to say thank you so much, you guys, for making my experience so good. And I didn't realize that I wouldn't want to leave. I was on the prize of travel in Charlotte for so long that I just didn't really appreciate what I had at the time. And what I had was you guys, and I had the beach, and I had just a place that actually really did feel like home. And now I'm in a new home. I'm in my old home city-wise, but I'm in a new home quite literally. This is Joseph's apartment. I don't know if you guys saw my decorating my boyfriend's apartment video that we didn't actually finish, but either way, I'll link it up here. So that's this apartment. I'll do an update because stuff is changing around here now that I'm here. But yeah, so I just wanted to come here and come on here. I just wanted to come on here and kind of recount my experience, mostly so I don't forget it. I can already see flecks of my memory kind of fading already, and it's been less than a week. So I wanted to create this video, so I just have it in my archives, and hopefully I'll get back down there soon when all of this starts blowing over. So it's very bittersweet being here. I'm so happy to be by my family and for Joseph to be by his family and in his apartment again, because he was in my apartment for about 4 months. So this is a good change. But if I'm being honest, I probably would have stayed in Florida, if I'm being really honest. But in the end, I guess it's good that I didn't, because it's now like such a hot spot for this pandemic. And so I guess I'm in technically a safer spot than I was down there, even though it doesn't really feel safer here, but whatever. But yeah, that rant aside, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
We can build a treehouse in the pine trees. We can keep our secrets buried underneath. Wildflowers crouch between your fingers, clinging to the wild things that raised us. Compass point you home, calling out from the east. Compass point you anywhere closer to me. If we make it out alive from the depths of the sea, compass point you anywhere closer to me. Where you are, I will be. My heart in the deep. Where you are, I will be. Anywhere between. Take me to the garden of your ecstasy.
That's it. We just did a picture.
Bye, Joelle. It was so nice seeing you and spending time with you. I'm gonna miss you. Come back and visit sunny Florida. Bye. You weren't supposed to laugh. Bye, Joelle. See you later. Come back to Florida.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't laugh. Go ahead.
Bye, Joelle. Nice to see you.